Garima ma'am, what this CUET is all about, and is it in line with national education policy?
Absolutely. The Common University Entrance Test basically has been promoted now by the government in line with the national education policy, because what we are trying to do is we are trying to ensure that that culture of scoring 100%, and even a child who scores 98, 99 does not get the stream of his choice or the subject of his choice or the college of his choice. Therefore, what is being now focused at is a university entrance test which will bring about equal opportunity for all children and equal opportunity for the universities. It will do away with the subject bias that was there. And basically, it is all based on the class 12 NCRT syllabus. So it is exactly, it's not doing away with the importance of the board exam. Neither is it promoting a coaching culture which some people are fearing and apprehensive about. Basically, if children know what they have studied in class 12 very well, they will be able to take this entrance test. And each one, you are then not competing basically only against a few, say 30 or 40 children in your class. You are competing at an all India level, right? And the ranking basically there would matter on a percentile ranking, relative uh, marking, and not the absolute marking that is there on a board.
So, is it really focusing on inculcating life skills, strengthening skill development, and honing entrepreneur spirit of children?
I would say that basically it will focus on the fundamentals, and the basic concepts are clear in school only. What is required for this entrance exam would be application of those concepts, right? So what basically is going to get strengthened is what we are already focusing on, and that is the creative and critical thinking, the problem solving skills of the child. And actually these are the skills that are required for life. But we must remember one thing, that CUET is an entrance test. So for entry, it is basically the objective pattern that is required. Nobody is saying that the total subjectivity of the syllabus and the focus on the basic concepts and fundamentals is done away with. So whatever the schools are focusing on, the creative, critical thinking, strategic thinking, problem solving, experiential learning, those are the skills that are actually going to be used with a lot of application that will be required.
Very last question: how to achieve progressive education?
How to achieve progressive education is work in progress. So it is something that you keep on doing over a period of time. And I think the national education policy is a very, very progressive policy. And everything is stated very clearly. So if schools have, and most of the schools have started implemented, and another thing that is there is it is something that is very, very easy to implement. You know, if you really go into the depth, you discuss with all the stakeholders, you understand the vision, the ideology, the philosophy behind it, you are so impressed as an educator that you really want to carry it forward. And therefore, I think the national education policy being a progressive policy, I think education is, it has always been a very progressive subject. It's a dynamic subject because here change is the only constant and we keep on taking challenges. But I think the policy being progressive, we will move towards progressive education.
Gulshan ma'am, this CUET in line with the national education policies, what changes it will bring in the current education system?
Uh, if I talk about the changes in the current education system, as such, NEP is stating that we'll have to move from learning by rote to learning by experience. So basically, it's the change what we are envisaging at is experiential learning through concept building in your own context, and then CUET is nothing but the testing of your aptitude in that perspective.
So, what according to you is the basic difference between learning and teaching?
I have already, stated there that there's a example which helps you understand the difference between teaching and learning. A person claims that he has taught his dog how to sing, and the people wait for his dog to sing, and he says, "I claimed I have taught my dog to sing. I didn't say he has learned to sing. So there's a difference between teaching and learning, which makes in that learning is by the child in his own context, while teaching is whereby the teacher portrays the his or her own learning to the child out of his or her own experiences. So learning has to be built in under different tangents of the child, right? So that's the difference between teaching and learning.
So, what do you feel the most exciting and effective way of learning environment would be?
Joyful, and it has to be with a very different pedagogical approaches. When we talk about joyful learning, we bring in art integrated learning as a pedagogy. So there's a difference between art integrated learning as a pedagogy and art integration as an activity. Generally there's a confusion that AIL as a pedagogy is not being taken, but AIL as an activity is portrayed by the teachers. So when you bring in learning through art integration, through sports integration, through multiple disciplinary approach, you actually bring in joy to joy for learning, and you reduce the burden on the child, and you come up with an approach which is student friendly, and whereby you need to give time to the child to learn. And learning happens at 6 different levels: learning on your own, through then learning through your peers, learning from the teacher, and learning from the environment. So all the four tangents have to be taken up together to make learning very profound, and to make learning very effective and lifelong, because NEP is focusing just not learning but learning for to be a lifelong learner.
Nagina ma'am, what according to you is progressive education?
According to me, progressive education is the first step that we've taken today. By bringing forth the kind of challenges NEP and CUET are going to unfurl for Indian education system. I think we're at a very nascent stage right now, even though we started off in 2020. But each year is going to unfold the challenges, unfold maybe the kind of gaps we intend to cover in the Indian education system. The CUET definitely brings things on a uniform platform as of now, but we have to face the challenges as they uncover, because the child is already pressurized with the board examinations in class 12, and if we have to primarily repeat the syllabus for the CUET, I do not see any kind of logic in it. And I also feel CUET hits, hammers the nail into the coffin for the board examinations, because the child is pressurized for the board examinations, and now the pressure of the CUET also comes in. But however, it is something we have to face, because it hasn't been a collaborative decision between the education makers and education people and the people who deliver education in the classroom. So let's see how it unfolds. Progressive education, yes, the first step is at least we are sitting and talking and debating about it. And we are thinking and we are discussing as to how we can make a child's life better or more goal oriented towards the kind of career and towards the kind of life they would like to lead.
One more question. What is to be done to ensure that education is more employable?
Very good question. I think what has to be done to make sure education is employable has got maximum to do with are we pursuing the kind of career we want to pursue, or are we pursuing a career that our parents want us to pursue, or are we pursuing a career that just because 10 others are pursuing, or it pays very well. In the long run, it is all going to be what I really want to do. And if you really want to do what you want to do and you pursue it, it's only going to be not a job, but a career. And that's the difference, which makes it, I think, which primarily defines success and a successful and an unsuccessful life.
Hitesh sir, what according to you is progressive education?
So please understand, progressive education is all about that we are upgrading learning skills of the students day by day, month by month, year by year. And the system has to be designed in colleges, schools, at educational institute, even at the coaching institute, that the person, the child is learning every day in and out.
As you have mentioned that education is a dynamic process, it keeps on changing. So what changes are to be made in education system, in preparation process and in syllabus?
So I'll be very specific. The CUET, see, this paper was announced just 2 months back, and around 10 lakh people are expected to take this exam. It's going to be a lot of different the way the admissions used to take place in commerce and humanities. Suddenly, for the first time, that in admissions in Delhi University, the marks will hold no criteria, no meaning, right? And just think of the students who have been preparing since last 2 years, and they were preparing tuitions and they wanted 99, and suddenly 99 will not be the only criteria. There are much more criteria. So this year, but again, everybody has the same field. So I think overall, if you see, the system is changing, and it's changing for good, because we talk about inclusion, we talk about how students from vernacular colleges or schools can go to the top institutions.
Sir, is system really focusing on honing entrepreneur spirit or strengthening skill development, inculcating life skills?
So I think entrepreneurship is something, such a topic. At a school level, I think we can only make these students aware. See, we are a country where so many young people are there, and government cannot create so many jobs. It is impossible. So the owner lies of the schools, colleges, to bring that seed of entrepreneurship at the early age, and I am very sure that blossoms to people to I'll say job givers rather than job seekers.
So, as you have mentioned that education is a dynamic process, it keeps on changing. What changes are to be made in syllabus and process?
Basically, our new national education policy, I think it is a very comprehensive and future ready policy. It takes into account कि जो हमारा पुराना कल्चर था, एक इंडिक कल्चर था जो गुरु शिष्य, जहाँ पे हर बंदे को एक आत्मज्ञान मतलब सेल्फ अवेयरनेस पे फोकस है, उसके बिना आप अपनी लाइफ में सक्सेसफुल होने की आपकी प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत कम हो जाती है. तो हमारी नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी उस पर भी फोकस कर रही है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स द 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स दैट वी टॉक अबाउट, दे आर ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ इट, एंड एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग. नो द थिंग इज इट हैज़ टू बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड विद लॉट ऑफ सिंसेरिटी एंड लॉट ऑफ कल्चरल चेंजेस हमें लाने की ज़रूरत है. हमारा जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, इट इज़ अ लेगेसी ऑफ कॉलोनियल रूल, जहाँ पे सिर्फ क्लर्क प्रोड्यूस किए जाते थे, पियन प्रोड्यूस किए जाते थे कि भाई आपने सिर्फ सलाम ठोकना है. पर आज बंदे को क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग, टू स्टैंड फॉर देम सेल्फ, स्टैंड फॉर सर्टन वैल्यूज़. नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी उस जो हमारा ट्रेडिशनल, जहाँ पे हमारी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ वर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस, मैं नालंदा की बात करूँ, हज़ारों साल पहले से, जैसे आज लोग हार्वर्ड जाना चाहते हैं, पहले नालंदा में आते थे. सो वी आर मूविंग इन दैट काइंड ऑफ डायरेक्शन. तो ये हमारी जो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी इज ट्राइंग टू अचीव. और CUET, कॉमन यूनिवर्सिटी एंट्रेंस टेस्ट, इज़ वन वेरी गुड वे ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग द बर्डन ऑन स्टूडेंट्स, गिविंग देम एक्सपोजर ऑफ कि हमारे अक्रॉस इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटीज़ का उनको एक्सपोजर मिले. अभी जैसे 80 समथिंग यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं इसके अंदर, सून देयर विल बी मोर यूनिवर्सिटीज़, एंड लेट्स सी हाउ इट इवॉल्व्स. इट्स पाथ इन प्रोग्रेस. इसके कुछ चैलेंजेस आएंगे इनिशियली, कोई भी चेंज आता है थोड़ा सा अनकंफर्टेबल होता है, बट इन द लॉन्ग रन नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी इन कंजंक्शन विद CUET विल बी अ गुड प्रोसेस फॉर एवरीवन.
So, what is the need of career planning and इसमें career counseling कैसे critical part play कर?
देखो, जैसे मैंने बोला सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, करियर काउंसलिंग, द आइडिया इज़ टू हेल्प यू नो योर सेल्फ बेटर. तो बिना अपने आप को जाने, विदाउट नोइंग योर सेल्फ, हाउ विल यू मेक इन्फॉर्म्ड इट? अदरवाइज इट इज़ लाइक शूटिंग इन द ब्लाइंड. लोग नॉन मेडिकल लेते हैं, इंजीनियरिंग करते हैं, उसके बाद उनको लगता है इंजीनियरिंग मेरे लिए है नहीं, क्योंकि पूरी सोसाइटी में शुरू से कल्चर बना है, एक हायरार्की बनी है कि भाई आप यहाँ तो डॉक्टर इंजीनियर हो, या फिर आप कॉमर्स के स्टूडेंट हो. सो एक हायरार्की सिस्टम है, उसको ख़त्म करने की कोशिश है. और दूसरा, सबको समझना चाहिए कि हर किसी का अलग अलग एप्टीट्यूड है, टैलेंट है, इंटरेस्ट है. तो अपने टैलेंट के बेसिस पे अगर आप चॉइस लोगे, देखो जो रोल जितना कॉम्प्लेक्स और डिफिकल्ट होगा, उस पर अलग आपकी अर्निंग पोटेंशियल होगा. पर हर किसी को टॉप अर्निंग पोटेंशियल से हैप्पीनेस नहीं मिलेगी. हर किसी को उसमें पोटेंशियल मिलेगी जहाँ पे दे आर डूइंग थिंग्स एज पर देयर ओन इंटरेस्ट, उनकी कैपेबिलिटी. अगर वो हमेशा दे आर नॉट फीलिंग स्मार्ट, आप इंजीनियर बन जाओ एंड यू डोंट हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ कैपेसिटी इन यू, यू विल ऑलवेज फील लाइक एन इडियट. तो करियर काउंसलिंग का पर्पस ये है कि यू help you find your best potential and help you identify what kind of directions you can take, and at the same time develop certain character muscles ki being industrious, hard work, giving your best, being resilient, कि अगर कोई सेटबैक्स तो लाइफ में आने हैं, मुश्किलें आने हैं, तो आप मेंटली कितने कैपेबल हैं उन मुश्किलों को हैंडल करने के लिए, सो दैट यू रीच एट योर ओन लेवल ऑफ इनकम्पिटेंस, कि जहाँ पे जाके आप आपकी कैपेबिलिटी की लिमिट है, वहाँ तक पहुँचना. दैट इज़ द आइडिया ऑफ करियर काउंसलिंग, एंड इट डज नॉट अप्लाई ओनली टू एजुकेशन, इट अप्लाइज टू योर हेल्थ, it applies to what kind of person you are, your social values, your moral values. So that is the whole idea of knowing yourself comprehensively. Value based education national education policy का part है.
Sir, is CUET in conjunction with national education policy really focusing on inculcating life skills or strengthening skill development?
Look, that is a separate thing. CUET is more about aptitude, right? Giving you flexibility कि आप जो silo based education तो उस part के लिए CUET is just an exam. So it will handle only small part of national education policy. National education policy is a very comprehensive document that covers value based education, other things in a different way, and it is trying to make it mandatory.
Thank you so much for your views, sir.